Okay, very good morning, and I am very honored to be here speaking to you, and I will show you some of our research experience with some of the medicinal plants. But before that I go, I would like to share the broad ideas of central nervous system injury and repair, in which area we are working. You have a pointer?
Pointer.
Do you have a pointer?
Yes.
Check it.
No. I'm asking to pointer.
Laser pointer? I think so.
Okay. I can go anyway.
No pointer.
Okay. Without losing my time, I'm going there. So we are working on a big project. Thank you, sir. Should we put here?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay, as you can see that we are working with US Air Force Research Laboratory and Department of Defense, Swedish Strategic Research Foundation, European Office of Aerospace Research and Development, National Center of Toxicological Research, US Air Office for Human Health Factors, Government of Sweden, and some pharmacological drug companies. And this is from Spain. We have collaboration and Romania. So this is a large collaboration working on central nervous system injury and repair, and our main aim is to develop potential drugs and their delivery by nanowires. Just to tell you that I am from India originally and worked in United States since 2014. We did a thesis in Indian University, Banaras Hindu University, that laid the foundation of all the research that I am carrying out here. I will talk about central nervous system, and most of you are very familiar with that, but I can tell you that when we think about central nervous system, we think about only neurons. But neurons are in minority, and we have much more cells in the central nervous system, glial cells and also endothelial cells. Our research is focused on endothelial cells because they are regulating the brain function. In 2003, we have this book telling the emphasis of blood-brain barrier because we can modulate by drugs. And they are open in all diseases that we have, even some non-neuronal disease like liver dysfunction, kidney dysfunction. So this example is showing that whenever our capillaries in the brain is leaky, it can affect both neurons and glial cells. So that's why the blood-brain barrier is very important here, and we try to modulate this blood-brain barrier using different kinds of drugs in disease processes. This is the first example of blood-brain barrier telling that these two endothelial cells are connected with tight junctions, and they even do not allow lanthanum that has a molecular diameter of 12 angstrom. So this is very tight under normal conditions. Then I worked with Dr. Sarvas Navarao. He is one of the living legends in neuropathology in Berlin, Free University in Berlin. And at that time I was working on Humboldt Foundation with my wife. So what we think that any kind of central nervous system injury will affect this blood central nervous system barrier because there are a few more barriers in the spinal cord and in eye. And when it is open, we have edema, necrosis, ischemia, and lots of molecular changes, all leading to cell death. We try to reduce this at this stage or at this stage. Basically, I'm a neuropathologist, work with Yngve Olsen, and he is one of the leading neuropathologists. It's still in Uppsala. So we try to provide attention of the new therapies, why central nervous system is very important, and even it is important for non-neuronal systems. We also work with, this is Dr. William Slicker from US FDA, and we have collaboration on different things. And as you know, that is still, the nano delivery of drugs is still a debate, and US FDA has not put many guidelines yet. They are working on this. For the first time in 2009, we did a progress in brain research to highlight this nano-neuropharmacology and nano-neuroscience. Now these are well established disciplines. We also have suggestions, and in collaboration, Dr. Aaron Shikanover, who got Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2004. And then we came across Chinese government and some of its establishment. They would like to see, there are many good Chinese medicinal plants, they are used since ages, and what we can do using nano delivery of these compounds. So these were first experiments, and we came across in early 2003. So here is my colleague Dr. Feng, and also this drug company in China, and also this Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology. I will show you whatever the results. These are all my own observations. It has nothing to do with any government we are working with. So the point is that we have a couple of novel observations, I should say, because people have not looked before. You know, when the military, they are on the battlefield or even in peacekeeping, they always have problems with sleep deprivation. And this can influence our mental function. So these are one of the key aspects. And we showed that sleep deprivation up to 72 hours even, or even 48 hours, can produce judgmental error, can produce command and control centers problem, and this would lead to many problems. If our soldiers, when they are sleep deprived, get additional traumatic brain injury, the situation will be much more worse than we can imagine. So these are some aspects that we are working, never worked before, and I tell you that brain is a matter of neurotransmission, and many neurochemicals are released, and some of them are for good, and some of them are for not good. So I don't have time to discuss each and everything, but you can say that here, that neurotrophic factors, growth hormones, they are also released after traumatic injury and any kind of insults. They are for good. But there are many substances that are released in the brain, they are very harmful. So our idea is to keep the balance, and whether we can influence them by drugs, nanoparticles, these are the large questions that we are addressing at the moment. This is an example in battlefield, how our military pass their time in difficult periods. This is one example of sleep deprivation. And even, I can show you, this is US government data. You can see that these are 24, 48, 72 hours. Their decline of the common ability, it is progressive in nature. Head injury in military is one of the biggest problems so far, and it is obvious. And these are very old data that we have. They could be penetrating and severe, moderate, and mild, you can see here, and also difference between age and male and female persons. This cartoon shows that after concussive head injury, that is quite common, there are many functions changes, and that can lead severe problems. This is the former, it's not the question of political mileage or anything, but this is the former Democrat governor in Arkansas who is helping us a lot in nano delivery of drugs, because they are being done as a US patent in University of Arkansas Fayetteville. This is Dr. Ryan Tian, and this is Dr. Wang. They have the US patent of nano delivery that we are using as a titanium nanowires. This is the titanium nanowires looks like. And the other thing we are also using that in the University of Modena, this PLGA level nanoparticles. The idea is to understand whether we would like to use titanium nanowire or PLGA. There will be any difference in the treatment or final strategy. You will see later. Regarding traumatic brain injury, we have two different kinds of models. One is concussive head injury, and when a weight is dropped over 20 centimeter height, it produces an impact of 0.224 Newton. That is not very high, but moderate. But what happens when this penetrating injuries? So we have a model in rats when we open this bone, parietal bone, and have mild cerebral cortical injury by a knife incision. To understand the scientific validity, we were happy when this US Technical Innovation and Showcase given this award to my wife, 15% top technology, when we developed this titanium nanowire delivery of many drugs in head injury after sleep deprivation. So we were very happy. This is an example where we have given this co-administration of alpha melanocyte stimulating hormone for sleep, and there is a combination of drug, different types of neurotrophic factors in cerebralizing. This is produced in Austria, and we got the award, she got the award. Then to understand these new aspects, various publishing houses are inviting us to do this volume. This is the recent one in 2017 by Springer Nature, and this is the latest one in this year, nanomedicine and CNS injury. So some of the examples I will give you. We have a animal model of sleep deprivation where the rats were allowed to stay, and this is water. So when they feel sleepy, they got into the water, and then their paradoxical sleep is interrupted. Another point that any military faces in the world is exposure to nanoparticles, and these could be from engineered nanoparticles. Why I say engineered nanoparticles? Those particles are called engineered nanoparticles that are not naturally present in the environment. But there are many nanoparticles are present in the environment, for example, silica dust. But when there is gun explosion or any kind of blast, many nanoparticles are coming and exposing humans for different effects. So here we studied with the advice of US Air Force Research Laboratory that engineered nanoparticles from silver, copper, and aluminum. The point is that if we use the same size of different nanoparticles, can we have same effect, or each nanoparticles may have different effect? And you can see here that copper and silver, they have different effects on the same time. I can show you here that the neuronal damages were progressive up to 72 hours of sleep deprivation. And when copper 50-60 nanometer is given and silver is 50-60 nanometer in size given, we have much more damage by silver compared to the copper. Now the question is that can we use same kind of drug to treat in a person who is exposed to nanoparticles or not exposed to nanoparticles? The answer is that if the person is exposed to nanoparticles, we require different strategies to treat with drugs. This is the example. We have given the same drug, 5-HT3 receptor antagonist on ondansetron. This did not work when the rats were exposed to nanoparticles. For that, we need to deliver them using nanotechnology. And then we have some good effect. The point is that even we can reduce the dose. So 1 milligram of the drug with nanotechnology has much better effect than the 2 milligram in that situation. Normal. So the concussive head injury, I will show you. The point is that when we injure brain on right side, for example, and the skull is not broken or perforated, then there is a counter co-effect, and the left side, which is not injured, is more damaged. And this is the example here, uninjured left half and injured right half. This is electron microscopy showing more edema and sponginess as compared to here. This is another example here. The right side, the left side is much more damaged. But when we combine with sleep deprivation and doing the same kind of insult, you can see that after 24 hours, there is much more damage than the injury itself. Then, for example, I am showing some of the award investigation that we have given titanium nanowire, cerebrolysin, and alpha MSH. We have much more better protection. We also see at electron microscopy to understand that we are not doing wrong, and you can see that the drugs given by nanowire, they have protected this. Now coming to the medicinal plant that we are using this NBP. In China, it is used for stroke, it is used for hypertension, it is used for Parkinson's disease, and for example, hypertension and many other diseases. They are used in China since, they say more than 1,000 years. So this is our team. This is Dr. Fong, and we are working with the International Peace Army Hospital in Shijiazhuang in China. And traumatic brain injury, concussive head injury, you can see that many more cases appear, both in civilian and in military. And so the point is that there are various kinds of things. Most of the head injury occurs from firearms, vehicle accidents, and some of fall and other things. So this is one of the key elements. And this is French investigator who first time described that not only brain injury, it can be influenced by many other diverse factors. I don't have time to go to that area. And you can see that counter coup and concussion is most important in making concussive head injury more severe. So we have a model of counter coup. I showed you earlier, and this I showed you earlier. To have the comparison that whether we can have some drugs better, or if we combine them, we can get better treatment. We use this as Austrian drug, multimodal drug, cerebrolysin. It is a mixture of different kind of neurotrophic factors and also peptide elements. We have several investigations on this. So this is the Chinese celery that we are using. Extracts from that, it is called NBP, and a drug company in Shijiazhuang makes it. It's a worldwide company and produces this drug for worldwide distribution, and even it is clinical trials are going on in stroke in the United States of America as well. So this is well established drug. This drug is also in our hand registered with World Innovation Conference, but we did not get any award on this drug, but it is listed as innovation. We are happy with that. Some examples. Making long story short, they say that if it is given in 60 milligram for certain hours in traumatic brain injury, it helps. So what will happen if we try to give them first time with nanowire delivery or any kind of delivery? I'm showing some results with titanium nanowire delivery. So can we reduce the dose or can we have better effects? And these are our experiments that we are doing for traditional medicinal plants. A lot of drugs will be labeled with, there is traditional Chinese medical university in Guangzhou. We are also cooperating with them. So I can show you the results first. Traumatic brain injury, it produces leakage of the blood-brain barrier to advanced blue and iodine. You can see that 12 hour, 24 hour, there is progressive leakage, brain edema, and also this number of neurons injured in the areas investigated. We have given 24 hours after the injury by 60 milligram standard doses, we saw reduction. But when we have given even 40 milligram with titanium nanowire level, we have much more reduction in the pathological index. This is the example of neuronal injury. This is 24 hours after. Left side, And right side is 60 milligram normal, and this is nanowired NBP 40 milligram level. And you can see that neuroprotection is much more better in this case. To show different areas or different time points, you can see that 4 hours to 24 hours, there is gradual increase in radioactive leak after injury. Also the edema is progressive. These are controls. When we have given NBP, you can see this level 1, all parameters were significantly reduced. So we can say that if we give drugs that are good using nanotechnology, they have better effect. Maybe I will show you tomorrow, or my wife will show you tomorrow, some of the ideas that all drugs given with the same nanodelivery may not be good. So it is not necessary that nanodelivery can make a bad drug to good drug. You should have the good drug. Its effect can be potentiated. That's the point. This is our team at same Army Hospital. This is Shijia Zhuang. And now we are also working with, this is Gold Military Hospital, because in military these problems are many, and we are utilizing nanodelivery of other drugs. Maybe next year we can show you. And most of the time we are progressing in Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, stroke, spinal cord injury, and even drugs of abuse that is very common in some parts of the world. They also produce brain damage, cardiovascular disease, and blast brain injury. These are our collaborators. I will not take your time. Some of the funds we receive all over the world on this investigation. I am from Uppsala University at the moment, and thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so you were saying that the nano delivery or nanoparticles, they don't necessarily increase the effectiveness of all drugs. Some drugs are trying. Is it generally increasing the effectiveness of specifically drugs that are having a hard time crossing the blood-brain barrier? Or if you have numerous different types of drugs that cannot cross the blood-brain barrier equally as efficiently, is it somehow these are interacting some mechanistic way with the drug to make them more effective as they cross the barrier?
Yes, this is a very good question. The question is that why and how nanodelivery drug is doing better and with specific drugs. The point is that so far we believe, according to published literature and our own investigation, that when the drug is, any kind of drug is labeled with nano wires or nanodelivery, they have widespread distribution in the brain because they are so tiny, they can penetrate the membrane, cell membrane, without doing damage. They can be inside the cytoplasm, then they release their compound like mini osmotic pumps inside the cells. And also, they are not catabolized because they are bound to certain time with nanowires or nanomaterials. This is one thing. So those drugs, even they penetrate into the blood-brain barrier, but not that effective. They will not do better. But those drugs, they are already known to bound some receptors or doing some molecular mechanism at cellular or molecular level. They get a boost when they were delivered using nanoparticles because they are widely distributed in the brain. In our hand, if you topically apply it on a spinal cord at one segment, in 4 hours it can reach up to very far, for example C4 when the applied is on thoracic level. This is one thing. Then they can be inside the body or inside the system. A normal drug can metabolize, for example, half-life could be 12 hours to say 20 hours, but when they are bound with nanoparticles, their half-life can be prolonged up to 2 or 3 days. So these could be one of the possibilities by which a good drug is doing better when they are delivered with nanoparticles. Regarding different type of nano delivery, in our hand, it is not that we are working with titanium nanowire. I'm saying that it is one of the best, but we have compared in Alzheimer's disease, giving the same drug with titanium and PLGA. Both were very effective, but still the titanium nanowire have superior effect of 20 to 25%. Maybe this is better access or having long time because PLGA is biodegradable material. Is that answer your question?
Very good.
Yes, please.
Have you faced some difficulties because, as we know, the drugs that are affecting central nervous systems, the concentration that is reached when you ingest a drug is, so to say, optimal, but with nano-drug delivery you will increase the concentration of drug available to the neurons or to the surrounding tissues. Does some side effects occur when you administer the nano structures filled with the drug? Because you will increase the brain concentration of a drug.
Yes, that's right.
It will affect different tissues in much higher intense than when the regular drug is ingested.
Two points. First, that even the nanomaterials can go into the brain, and those nanomaterials can also accumulate for some time in the central nervous system. That's one point. The second point is that the nanobound drugs can also accumulate and release for longer times. So that's why it is necessary to choose first good nanoparticles. They are largely innocuous. In our hand, titanium is largely innocuous with very high dose, up to 6 months in our hand. So that is one point. The second thing, you should choose good drug because we have not seen, now we are working with, this is open, we are working with Federal Far East University in Vladivostok, Russia. They have marine products. And I heard that one of my co-chairs said that marine drugs. And these marine, I cannot tell the name, these marine drugs, they are very toxic. Okay? They are used to treat tumor cells. So the tumors are dying with that, but not the healthy cells. We have preliminary investigation. We have used these toxic materials to titanium dioxide nanowires. And we have injected at the moment in cell culture. And we can see they are more toxic than the normal. So if the drug is toxic, it will produce more toxic. If the drug is good, it will produce more better effect. Up to that, this is our knowledge. But we are exploring. Okay? Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
I was just wondering about toxicity. I was under the impression that when you use nanoparticles, then you can effectively reduce the dose.
Yes.
So then you don't necessarily should see toxicity?
You can see the toxicity if you have the higher dose of either the drug or the nanomaterials. But the point is that why we observe that it reduces the dose, because it can be staying in the system for a long time. That's number one. The second thing, it is degraded less, means it can stay for a long time, and then it can reach to the target organs or receptors in large quantity in a small time. Yes, please.
Nice presentation, Professor.
Thank you.
I just want to know, have you ever tried with nanoparticle antibody conjugation for target specificity?
This is not our subject. There is one, our friend in University of California, San Diego, he is doing. So this is, our research is not focused at the time targeting the antibodies. Our object is to screen some of the drugs that have some receptor modulating effects. For example, at the moment we are doing only this. Thank you.
Thank you.